Told you I'd be back. So years ago, I recorded a podcast episode back when the podcast was very young. In fact, my audio recording equipment was just not the best, okay? I didn't spend any time editing or working on it properly, and I didn't take it as seriously as I did now. In fact, it was pretty much bare bones at this point, but the podcast was taking shape at that point. I did mention that I was on a really nice trip to Monterey. We went to the Aquarium, and we saw some sights. I said in that episode, years ago again, that I'd be back. And here I am, this time with video footage. Thankfully, we were able to shoot this with my iPhone, and of course, only the highest quality for you guys. I am sorry this took literally years to come out, but hey, eventually it came out, right? I went back to check just to be sure. It was January 7th, 2022. That's how long it was since we've been here. We were at New Year's Day, 2022. That's how long it was. I know what you're saying right now to yourself. You're saying, meatweed, shut up! No one cares about the past. Anyway, here's a whale. And there's people. But I wasn't here for the people. I was here for the otters. Everyone knows as soon as you go into the Monterey Bay Aquarium, the otters are right there. And let me tell you right now, the otters are the main attraction. They're the main character. Everyone loves them. You know who else is there? The fish. This one fish was in the tank all by himself with the otters. Everyone else was just looking at the otters, ignoring the kelp bass entirely. But you know what? I'm rooting for you, buddy. You know, all three aquariums I've been to in my entire life have had the same model of blue whale. It is kind of cool, but this one goes above and beyond and has the actual bones of the whale. I found that interesting, and honestly, Morro Bay Aquarium, you guys, hats off to you. That's awesome. These bones just happen to be above the sea otters, which you'll see right now. Bam, look at how cute they are. Everyone loves the sea otters. You guys don't understand how crowded it was just trying to get here. Getting these shots, this is the best I could get, okay? You can see the person's shoulder right there. This is literally the best I could get, okay? Right now, you'll see their names. And let me tell you right now, even knowing their names, I couldn't differentiate which otter from which otter. You know what I mean? Like, they're hard to tell apart. Double or nothing. Big bass. Come on. Otters are some of the smartest creatures in nature. And in fact, being in the exhibit with all of our eyes 100% focused, we learned it, honestly. It was really nice seeing this. It was beautiful, honestly, learning that a creature so adorable could also be so smart. Of course, I already know that fact because my girlfriend exists. Anyway, the otters they're just so full of fun facts, right? Like how they use tools to open up their clams. They can eat, well, of course they can eat. How else would they live, right? And they hold hands when they fall asleep so they don't drift apart. That's adorable, right? Imagine cute little ocean puppies holding hands. Look at that. That one, he was doing a little trick. I got a better view of it right there. I totally forgot about this clip, I'm not gonna lie, because I was so focused on them chewing really loudly with their mouths open. You can actually hear them chewing a little bit. They might have added that sound in, not post-production, obviously, because it was a live feed. Did they have tiny microphones? Probably. But this is kind of where you could see the scale of how big they are, right there in front of a human, right? They're small, but they're not tiny, right?
Of reference, humans have 100,000 hairs per square inch. So that's if you and 9 of your friends cut all your hair off and then condensed it to the size of a postage stamp. Now, I do want to mention something additionally about their fur is after they've eaten, you might see some grooming behavior. That is in otters' daily cycle. It's eating, sleeping, and grooming. Grooming takes up quite a bit of their time.
And yes, they do mean cleaning themselves. Don't think of the other grooming on the internet. Everyone knows that's clearly not what they're doing. They don't have access to the internet. Do you think they have any access to the internet?
Pier, plenty of populations would change very quickly as well. Now, a sea otter's favorite, one of the sea otters, and it looks...
Excuse me? I could make a million jokes about being on the ocean's edge, or I could just show you this really cool shark along with all the fish swimming around it. The shark, of course, was not hurting anything, and I really don't know why. I mean, sharks kill fish, right? When they're hungry? Maybe not these. I think it's kind of cool that tune-in divers seen the Rocky Reefs. Why am I reading this as I'm recording? It's so distracting. They were kind of cute though. Look at the little mouths. They're smiling. Hello. Do you know how incredible it would have been if we were evolved from sharks? We could have conquered the entirety of the solar system by now. Look at these majestic creatures. And my favorite, Senora Sturgeon. Buenos dias, Sturgeon. Sturgeon. Look how close he got to me. I loved it. I wanted to reach out and pet it, but he was behind glass. And alas, I am not allowed to swim in the aquarium, even though I would have loved to. If you're like me and you've played Animal Crossing several times during COVID, you would know every single creature on this list because you've single-handedly captured all of them throughout the entire year, even though it takes an entire literal year to get every single one of them. Wow! This one in particular, you can get all year round. I forget what you're called. I know it's anemone. Oh, fuck. Anemone. Anemone. There! I nailed it. Anemone. Get fucked, Finding Nemo. By the way, I don't even know if he's in this episode. If he is, we'll see him. I really like this thing they have here where it's like a bubble that sits on the surface of the water. Because if you try to look through the surface of the water, it's really blurry. They had a little spot here that talks about overfishing. It is very important to learn about that. I recommend checking it out. Yeah, it's right next to the exhibit with the unusually shaped hole that just squirts water onto these little coral sea life. Here's a little thing talking about the tide pools that form around the beach. And here is a little more in-depth analysis. How in-depth? That giant ball in the middle is a camera. And yes, you can control it. It was really cool. I wasn't able to control it. Everyone else was around it. People who didn't even know each other were all huddling around it. Anyway, here's some rainbow trout. I thought they were goofy looking, especially this one. Hello. Bat Ray Touch Pool. Well, if you insist. It's right here. I touched the damn pool. I was done. I didn't mind touching the pool, right? There's nothing wrong with it. It's just the fact that there was nowhere to wash your hands. And for the rest of this entire recording, my hands were sticky and I was uncomfortable. And my hands smelled like really strong fish. What the hell was in that pool? As somebody who really likes aquatic vehicles of all kinds, any sort of technological innovations that let us conquer anything that isn't just land, for example, the water, this is something I was really obsessed with. I love this boat! There is no journey. There is no way to go to an aquarium or any sort of place that doesn't have a store where you're not going to spend at least $100 in there, okay? And let me tell you right now, this guy, guess what he named him? He named him Bondavius. Thanks. What a lovely name. Of all the names you could have picked, that Bondavius! Bondavius! I like this one though. Look at that. Of course, we had to get some food, and the thing is, I don't know what it was about these fries specifically. These here, I don't know if you see them. Do you see any salt? Any salt at all? I don't see them either. Having said that, without salt, they were weirdly fulfilling. So much so that I couldn't finish this bread. I hope I zoomed in enough for you. Can you see it? Or this beverage? Before we continue any further, please enjoy this nice view of the cafe. Lovely. It's a nice respite from the rest of the video, and it's... I love this part of the aquarium. All of the art that you're about to see is made from plastic that instead of being in the ocean, is now in the aquarium. It's nearby the ocean, but at least it's not hurting any wildlife, right? Way more better use of plastic. Instead of throwing it out in the trash, clean it up and give it to these guys, because they know what the fuck they're doing. Seriously, look at all of the art installations, except I don't know how this one works. I was scared. My girlfriend pointed out, how is it doing that? I don't know. Circles. That's how. I don't know. Maybe some sort of current, some sort of water jet. I don't know, but it was nice. This one, I pointed out that the plastic is a little clean, so maybe it's not plastic directly from the ocean, but it's things that would have gone in the landfill that are instead reused. This one, okay, pay attention, all right? This one blew my mind. That is awesome. I started zoomed in, right? You could really see the level of detail on that, and it's all little chunks of plastic. It's awesome. It was so cool. In fact, if you zoom in, it's actually way bigger. This is a small scale of it. Way too many people use paper cups and just kind of throw them away. That's still garbage. Instead, why don't you invest all your money? This one is nasty. I don't even know if people poured their oil down the damn storm drain. Like, you guys should know better than to do that. Tuna fish. Tuna fish. Tuna fish. Tuna fish. I'm gonna be totally honest. After the art exhibit, I just kind of blanked out. We ended up in this spot where it's really dark, and I guess these are supposed to be deep diving underwater fish, which was kind of cool. I've never ever seen this fish outside of Animal Crossing, and that's, yes, you're gonna hear me say that over and over again, because I'm gonna be totally honest. I've never seen these fish outside of an aquarium. Obviously, I think a lot of people could say the same thing. What the fuck am I saying? Turtles are cool, right? I've never seen a sea turtle up close. I was able to get closer. I didn't get footage of it, sadly. But it's just so cool how I always thought they were way, way, way smaller. They're huge. They're massive creatures, and I loved it. That's why I stayed on it for so long, even though nasty ass finger pointing at it. Oh, it's so tiny. This specific part of the tour, I have to mention something. Do you notice that these jellyfish are very, very close to the screen? Now, that to me raised some alarming questions. In fact, me and my girl both had this running theory. And yes, it's gonna sting. That's why I did that. Anyway, these little jellyfish exhibits. You'll notice that first off, this one specifically I could not get on camera. I tried really hard, but it's gonna be tiny and barely noticeable. It looks like a speck on the screen, but I swear to God, it's a jellyfish. That's a much better shot there. The thing I was discussing with her is that this specific part of the exhibit, the deeper diving underwater part, is sponsored by a computer company. And we had this theory that maybe the background is artificially grown, and it's actually a much smaller tank than we thought. Now, this is just a theory, and it would actually make this entire exhibit way more horrifying, but when you actually go there and see it, you realize that, first off, why are they so close when every single other fish had a lot of room to swim in? Jellyfish probably don't need that much room, sure, but it's just strange. See, this is a better look right here. Moon jelly. By the way, I got this one on camera because moon jelly I actually caught in Animal Crossing again. Yes, this one I found very interesting. I love this. Let's take a moment to listen. That's it. That's a jellyfish. You know what a jellyfish looks like. No, but seriously, we had that theory where we thought maybe their tanks are way smaller. We couldn't. I tried to get it on camera. We couldn't see the bottom, the top, or the sides. And that stood out to me as a red flag, because every other tank, you could see the top part at least. Now, that did not stop me from having fun. I loved it. I've never been in a trolley before. This is actually one of my favorite moments of the trip, because I've never been in public transportation to begin with. I hate to say it, but where I'm from, it's just not a thing, okay? This little ride, we were standing, by the way. This little ride was exhilarating. I loved it, and it was honestly adorable. I would have recorded more, but I don't like getting people's faces in the camera, you know what I mean? Like, I respect people's privacy, and by the way, if someone DMs me, I'll edit you out. It's just, I try to keep you in for, like, at most, a split second, if I could avoid it. That's why some of the shots are kind of awkward, I'm not gonna lie. Even the bus driver, his whole reflection was right there. I didn't want to get him in there. This view was pretty nice. This is when we got off, and I wanted to leave this part in, okay? It's gonna be weird audio. I feel like that train guy from TikTok was like super excited about trolleys, but that's really the first time I've ever been in one, and it was nice. Look where it dropped us off. We had a beautiful walk here in, I forget what the street is called. I think it's Cannery Road, but it's really, really rich in history, and I could talk all about it, but I'd say just Google it because it's so much to go over in this video. This entire scenic view, we were walking the whole way back to our hotel because what we had done to avoid parking, with the crowded area, is we parked at the hotel, took an Uber to there. Now, we thought of taking an Uber back, but we decided to just walk to the pier, and along the side of the beach, we found this nice little spot where we could actually walk down and be real close to the water. And of course, we decided to throw rocks into the water, and then we just thought, nah, let's just enjoy the scenery. It was actually at this point that I noticed that the water was rising, and we probably shouldn't have been there, so we weren't there for too long. As soon as we got back onto the trail, which is a little higher than this, we found this nice ball further down. I was screaming in pain a little because a metal ball in the sun that's been there for a while, it's kind of hot. And lucky enough, we saw some otters that distracted me. So I finally went to the very, very close to this cliff edge to record them. We made it to the pier, and in the podcast episode, I mentioned how this is one of my favorite spots in the entire place because there's a restaurant on this pier that we eventually made our way to, but I didn't get too much footage in there. I didn't want to, annoy the guests or anything. Here you could buy some Doritos for your dirty toes, excuse me, and some Cheetos for your dirty I made the joke already. Anyway, being from California, Red Hot Chili Peppers was playing, so I had to oblige. Obviously, I wasn't going to sing the whole song in the audio. Are you kidding me? That's super copyrighted, but it sounded like... My brother showed me this nice cup, and I asked him to turn it over because how are you going to drink out of that? This is the restaurant that I talked about on the podcast. I love this place. And of course, I had to get my little travel wine. Of course, this is just water because I was thirsty at this point. I drank at least 3 of these. Here's my wine here. And I'm glad I didn't get this on camera, but I spilt it. It was really, really embarrassing. Look, even the bread was bougie. I'm not gonna lie, I'd come here again, but I'd probably get a bigger meal. I wanted this boat, but my wallet said no. So I listened to my wallet because sometimes you have to control yourself as an adult. As an adult, you need to control yourself, your spending habits, and everything about you. This was within my budget, but not within my, I have too much crap on my desk. I like when sweaters have the stitching actually, like, the logo and everything is actually stitched into the sweater. That's how you know it's going to last forever. You know what I mean? It's a good sweater. No, I did not buy it. I already had a really nice sweater. I like these mood rings, though. As a kid, I would always buy them. They were never accurate, but they were nice to have. And back fees 10 cents. If you're in the Midwest, you don't know what that means. Because only here on the coast do we have that. I think? I don't know. I don't know if it's just a California thing or not. I saw this pirate, and I had to hit him with a .5. I just had to. Beautiful. I had to leave my reaction in when I saw the price of all these candies. Fucking hell. Indeed. But that didn't stop us from getting some, at least not in this specific store. We went to another one that was much nicer, and they had, a mix and match, and I love that. All these flavors are nice, right? But there was one kind of outdated reference. Let's see if you can spot it. It's a little subtle. Yeah, but all these flavors were really good, by the way. Also, I didn't just record this for the video. I recorded it to remember the names of all the ones that we got, because we did end up getting quite a big mix and match, and I wish we got more of the banana cream pie. I'll admit it was one of my favorite ones. I don't remember most of the other ones, to be honest. I just remember they taste good. Okay, I like candy. I like saltwater taffy. They hit different when you're at the pier. Other than that, honestly, they're okay. Ignore me dropping my phone, by the way. Look at this distinguished gentleman. Yes, I love him. Our walk back to the hotel was kind of extreme because for some reason Apple Maps is not much help if you're walking. It does kind of help. Of course, we had to go through historical sites, and cars do not drive here. And the thing is, too, weirdly enough, this path, for some reason, leads us specifically to here, which is a parking garage for a hotel. And not our hotel. We don't know whose hotel this was. Having said that, it was a very nice view, at least at first. It got weird fast, because we found an abandoned spot in the hotel. It was completely walled off. And we swear we saw something there. I don't know what it was. Nothing spooky, I swear. Although this is quite an interesting place. One would imagine that the first theater ever to exist in California is at least a little haunted, right? It didn't help that there was another abandoned building next to it. But not a single ghost was going to stop me from going to the bathroom, because at this point in the travels, I had to take it out of the audio that I really had to go to the bathroom. In fact, I remember this specific moment because it was where everything shifted. I went from scared to locked in. And you know what? That helped. Bam. Look at that. Made it just in time. Just in time because the door was not easy to open and we were all confused about the locks. All that matters is we had a nice hotel that was affordable, comfortable. Something about it was just really nice. Peace sign right there. And you're going to see my amazing, incredible view of, get this, a wall. Hey, sometimes you need just a wall to relax. Speaking of which, I had a wall blocking my entrance. It was really hard to squeeze out of when you're as tall as I am in this tiny door, but you know what? At least my car fit. And it was perfect timing to go out and actually look at the animals, because it's one thing to go to an aquarium. It's another to actually go out and see them enjoying life, because there's nothing more beautiful than an animal in the wild. Oh, to be a sea lion relaxing on a rock, perched up by the ocean. It'd be nice, right? But instead, I am simply a fat man watching them being perked up by the side of the ocean. Look at them, man. It's really nice to see them just relaxing, not paying FICA, not doing taxes. That's great. That's wonderful. Awesome. Look, animals are cool, right? I didn't like this shot too much as the next one. The next one was way better. XD. This is really clear. I can see all three of them. And I think right here, you can kind of hear how windy it was getting. I had to leave it in. It was really hard to determine how to edit this, but I just wanted to show you how windy it was getting. And these plants do not move despite the wind. I love that. That's resilience. Alright, enough of that. Here's a nice little history lesson right there. Perkins Park, that's where we were at. And a lovely view of the ocean. Come on, how could you not love that? And as soon as the wind settled, I'm going to leave it in the background because I love the crashing of the rocks right here. The water hitting the rocks, of course.
Hello. How you doing?
Where was this squirrel in the last episode, man? This squirrel would have cheered me up. I love squirrels, man. I know a lot of people hate him for some reason, but look at him. He's just relaxing there. Come on. After attempting to talk to the squirrels, I decided to go back up the cliff, which, lucky enough, there was a lovely set of stairs. And I ran out of breath just going up them. The reason being is because at this point, I didn't get it earlier in the video, but I had ate a lot of clam chowder. Or was it later? I think it was later. All I remember is that day, we had a hankering for some clam chowder. And clam chowder, clam chowder, clam chowder. Look at me getting frustrated in the video. When I'm hungry, I'm a bitch. I'm sorry. Also, I could never do what these guys are doing. Look, they're out in the ocean swimming. Those aren't animals, those are people. Unless you count people as animals. Some people do, some people don't. I simply do not count them as animals. That's not fair. Impressive, though. The thing about this little park that they have out here is that it's nice. However, I'm not an avid swimmer. At least on this day, I wasn't going to go out to the beach to swim. It was kind of cold out, which is why it was so impressive that those people got as far out as they did. Those are professionals right there, by the way. Very impressive. Now, of course, we were on our way home at this point, but what are we going to do, right? Are we going to go straight home in the middle of the day? Look how beautiful it was. Of course, we had to be out there for a little longer with these beautiful shots of the beautiful scenery, this beautiful, where are we? Tube! Look at that lighting, man. Something about that lighting was interesting to me. I didn't know that this was in Monterey. I was actually kind of impressed and a little terrified, but it was okay because I found the restroom again. By the way, if you see the specific sign when you're at the pier, never go in the bathroom. Holy crap, it was awful. One toilet for an entire pier. One toilet. That was not enough. There was a queue outside. It was embarrassing.
Seals.
I
love seals.
You guys remember when I was on keto? I do. How could I ever forget such a nightmarish hell that I put myself through? Bread bowls are incredible, okay? How incredible? This incredible. That's the wrong footage, but we're gonna go with it anyway, I guess. It's as incredible as a blue octopus. I dropped my phone again? Gosh, like that Laffy Taffy. That Laffy Taffy. Caramel apple taffy. This is saltwater taffy. This ain't Laffy Taffy. This joke doesn't land. You know what? Yes, it does. I've eaten enough Jelly Belly jelly beans to know they're dispensers when I see them. These are not Jelly Belly products. Somebody called Jelly Belly. I'm going to sue. Actually, it's a nice display of color. Look at it. It's actually really pretty. Chocolate-covered bacon doesn't rouse my ire as much as chocolate-covered jalapenos. What the hell? The European mind can never comprehend American flags just kind of chilling in place in a very iconic place. You know, it's just, look at that. It looks nice. And if you are wondering what exactly I was recording in front of, it's this little shop that has nice clothes that are actually affordable. They have a lot of discounts, and we were able to get little trinkets for the ride home and clothing that we still have. I still have a hat from here. I like this place. Like is an understatement. I absolutely love Monterey. The ride there, staying the night, watching the animals, it was all a beautiful thing. And 2 years ago now, when I recorded that podcast episode about being in Monterey, I said I wanted to be back, and I finally was, and I got footage this time, and it's been great. I originally wanted to upload this in 4K, but I might do it lower because taking uploads in 4K just takes so long. This is just going to be an HD instead. However, it's still going to be up. Finally, right? Now I have some unfinished business. Excuse me. And once again, thank you to every single one of my patrons. If you want to be one of them, link in the description. Yep, all of them are waiting for you.